I just saw somebody who genuinely just cared that I was doing this mitzvah.
Mivtzoim was a major thing to him. Besides the point that it was a major thing because you're helping out another Yid, it was a major thing because of Makasher you to the Rebbe.
I was elementary and he was in the Smeders. And every Friday he was very much into Mivtzoim. That's when Mivtzoim first started.
I went because he said, "You're coming with me, right?" Yeah, okay, fine, I'll come with you. When you have that type of leadership from the top down, it's just infectious, and it, pushes people, to do things.
Once when I was with him, once he had a Jewish inmate, then he was in a very high security situation, which means they took him out of the cell in shackles and they chained him to the bench. And I said, okay, so be it. And my brother said, hey, whoa, we're putting on him a tefillin shorosh. Can't put a shayad on him because he's handcuffed behind his back and he's chained to the bench. But my brother insisted we put at least a tefillin shorosh on him. And we make a bracha with him.
Rabbi Raichik always said, do what the Torah tells you to do. Do it the right way. Forget what everybody says. If they have a problem, they'll talk to you afterwards. Make sure everybody has tefillin. Because of Rabbi Raichik, we were allowed to leave tefillin in certain stations so that some inmates didn't need us there to put tefillin on them. They could put tefillin on every day. They just went to the guard and they were given a spot to stand right in front of the guard station and put tefillin on. We also left lulav and esrog. If it wasn't for Rabbi Raichik, this wouldn't have happened. I mean, everybody was afraid to do anything because of what could happen and the problems we could face, or we could get kicked out or whatever.
People would ring on our doorbell every day, looking for donations or anything. And we told the secretaries, everybody, the way we do it is we turn them away because we didn't know who they were. However, then Rabbi Raichik came, and I saw Rabbi Raichik, I didn't know who he was, but immediately my brother, he started buzzing on the door to let him in. So I said, what is this? Who is this? He said, it's Rabbi Raichik, it's Rabbi Raichik. I'll explain. We'd put on tefillin all the time. I made a promise that I put on tefillin every day. I do a quick version, but I still put it on.
He'd call me on the telephone, say, "Hi, you ready?" And he would take me, we would go together on Mivtzoim. Especially we used to go to a mall. There was a certain printer that we would go, a mashka store that we would go. They were always so happy to see him. We'd go put on film. And from Mivtzoim we went to visit someone that needed to be visited, and Rabbi Raichik always made a point on Friday. He had a busy day.
He went with my father, Ova Shalom, Mivtzoim on Purim to Manhattan. And this was maybe half a year after his wedding. He was totally devoted. It was his life.
But it's called Mamuna. It's the day after Passover. We were going out there to put on tefillin and give candles, Shabbat candles for the girls. He'd stop by each person so warmly and asked them about putting on tefillin, and they were happy that he was offering them this, and it was just beautiful being outdoors together.
We put on tefillin, and I didn't know the prayer, I didn't know how to put on tefillin, and the patience he had. Then he'd come one day and he said, well, maybe you could start putting on tefillin yourself. Long story short, to fast forward, I put on tefillin every day. And I can honestly say that, Rabbi Raichik played the role in bringing Yiddishkeit to myself and for my family.
Rabbi Raichik would come into the office 2 or 3 weeks before Pesach with big boxes of matzahs, and he would say to me, okay, wer sollen die Jiden do? And he would give out matzahs to all the Yidden in our office. And believe me, they were thrilled. And they used to look forward every year for Rabbi Raichik to arrive with the hand-baked shmura matzahs.
Friday, Rabbi Raichik was in hospital and he was supposed to have a surgery. And about an hour before Shabbos, he sent me a message. asking if I could please set up the menorah that goes in front of the house. And that was simply for Pursuim Anissa, to remind people about Hanukkah. And the way I understood it, the surgery was delayed and he was going into surgery very close to Shabbos. So literally right before that was when he asked me if I could set up the menorah for him, meaning that that's literally what was on his mind. Sitting in hospital, about to go into surgery. He wanted me to let him know that it was actually done, so he could have that menuchas hanefesh, that peace that it was done.
LA has much broader involvement of community members than most other cities. One of the reasons that I think that might be the case is that Rabbi Raichik's personal involvement in going out to the community and doing all these different projects that the Rabbi had instructed us to do. Whereas in many communities they leave it to the younger generation to go out and hit the road, but he was going to prisons, putting tefillin on people, talking to people about kashrus, about mikveh, all these things. And he was very personally involved in it.
Every visit would end with me rolling up my sleeve or taking off my white coat and putting on the tefillin. He noticed that I was left-handed, and on one of the visits he showed up with a beautiful tefillin bag with my name sewn on it. He said, "This is for you." And I said, "Did you remember left-handed?" "Of course I did, and it was appropriate for the right hand." He said, "Now let's see you do it correctly."
Came Hanukkah time, I remember I would go to Ralph's. He himself was standing out there and asking people if they would like some latkes, and if they wishing them happy Hanukkah. And he enjoyed it so much, and he was very unfazed. It was the most natural, normal thing for a person, even of his stature, to be standing in front of Ralph's Market.
We got a call from the Federal Bureau of Prisons, somebody at the Federal Bureau of Prisons, saying that there are a number of Jews and they would like to get a lulav and an esrog or whatever is needed for the Sukkot holiday. And Rabbi Raichik said, "Did they build a sukkah?" I said, "In jail? How are you going to build a sukkah?" Well, it was a huge prison, a federal prison, and we made arrangements for them to build a sukkah, a kosher sukkah. Rabbi Raichik and I and Rabbi Pe'er from Pico got there, and we started inspecting the sukkah, and Rabbi Raichik found some flaws. Anyway, they called everybody over, and we were able to fix everything and make a kosher sukkah.
We would go on Rosh Hashanah morning to blow shofar. I think the first number of years we would go to nursing homes. We'd get there about 8 in the morning because he said we want to meet them at breakfast. So instead of having to blow in every room, you've got 30 people sitting in a breakfast room. It's just easier to do that.
From tefillin, it was on all the holidays calling me, what I'm doing for the holidays, where I'm going to be for the holidays, where my family's going to be for the holidays. He generally changed my life, where now, Baruch Hashem, I'm eating more kosher, and I'm trying to keep Shabbat, and he transformed my life.
A guy comes in today. I told him, you have to send the report also to Dr. Gang. So he tells me, "My name is Adam Gang, I'm his son." At the end, I put on with him tefillin. He sent a picture to his father. Now I called his father, he said, "Your son puts on tefillin, it's also leg and tefillin hind." So he said, "Yes, I have to do it."
And said, "Oh, you're Eli Gang's son, put on the tefillin." And apparently Adam put on the tefillin, and it's a story that I will cherish. When he was having trouble breathing on one of his admissions to the hospital, I ran up to the intensive care unit to see him, asked him, "You couldn't stay away from us, could you?" And he smiled and said, "I wanted to make sure you put on tefillin."